I never meant to break my family. I only meant to stop breaking myself for them. But sometimes the smallest, quietest sentence becomes the earthquake nobody expects. Mine happened on a Sunday night, at a dinner table stuffed with food no one touched, under a chandelier that hummed louder than all of us. My father looked across the table, pointed his fork toward my brother Evan, and said, "That's what real responsibility looks like." Then he looked at me. Not long, just long enough to say everything he'd swallowed for years. My mother lowered her eyes. Evan smirked. And something inside me, something old and tired, finally snapped. I didn't shout. I didn't cry. I didn't even blink. I just said, quietly but clearly, "Then I'll stop covering your bills." The entire room froze. My father blinked. "What bills?" he asked, genuinely confused. My mother's hand trembled over her glass. Evan's face drained of color. That was the moment, the instant when the truth, buried for more than a year, forced itself into the light. But to understand how we reached that breaking point, you have to know what came before. From the outside, the Carter family was enviable. Brick house, matching Christmas sweaters, polite smiles and framed photos lining the staircase wall my mother baked for holidays. My father worked hard at his job, and Evan and I looked close enough in pictures that strangers assumed we got along. But perfection is a costume, and ours had started to tear long before anyone admitted it. My name is Lily Carter, 33, accountant, the quiet one, the one who handled everything. Some daughters are born sparks. I was the fire extinguisher. My brother Evan, 2 years older, was the golden investment, charming in a way people forgave, talented in a way people applauded. Every mistake he made was treated as a temporary obstacle on his path to greatness. My parents considered him exceptional. I was reliable, and reliability in our family meant responsibility without recognition. When my parents' small business collapsed during the economic downturn, they were drowning in debt. I stepped in. "Just for a few months," I said. Then a few months turned into a year. I covered their utilities, their mortgage shortages, medical bills, repairs, everything. My father refused to learn online banking, so he asked if Evan could handle the money. Evan agreed, and I trusted him. Not because he earned trust, but because in our family, doubting him was treated like betrayal. So each month, I transferred thousands to Evan, 3,000 here, 5,000 there. Quiet, invisible help. Help that swallowed my own savings. Help that turned into a habit. Help that no one thanked me for. And over time, I noticed something unusual. The house looked worse each time I visited. Peeling paint, humming refrigerator, overdue repairs. But they said everything was fine. Evan always had excuses ready. "Mom forgot to tell me about that bill. We handled it already. It was an unexpected expense. I'll reimburse you soon." He never reimbursed anything. Still, I kept paying, because in our family, love meant sacrifice. Or maybe sacrifice was the only love I was allowed to give. That Sunday night, we gathered around the table for what my mother insisted on calling family dinner, a ritual to pretend we were whole pot roast, candles and plates that only came out for holidays. Evan talked loudly about a business venture he was building, a vague, impressive-sounding project he never fully explained. My father beamed with pride. "That's my boy, always thinking ahead." Then he added with a pointed look at me, "You should take notes, Lily. That's real responsibility." It wasn't the first comparison, but it was the first time something inside me didn't shrink. It hardened. I set down my fork. "If Evan is so responsible," I said calmly, "then I won't pay your bills anymore." My mother's hand floated midair. My father frowned. "You don't pay anything." I met his eyes. "I've been sending the money to Evan every month for you, since last April." Evan's fork hit the plate. The silence after that was surgical. It cut, clean and deep. My father's voice dropped. "Evan, is that true?" Evan stuttered something meaningless. My mother began to cry. And in that moment, I knew I hadn't been helping them. I had been enabling them. And Evan? He hadn't mishandled my trust. He had exploited it. For 13 months. More than $70,000 gone. That night, I didn't sleep. I opened my laptop and went through every transfer, every message, every receipt. At dawn, I went to the bank and asked for a full trace, and that's when a name appeared repeatedly: Novarise Development LLC, a company that didn't exist, tied to someone named Colton Hayes. 3 days later, the doorbell rang. My parents and I were in the living room when I opened the door. A man stood there, polished shoes, fitted jacket, perfect haircut, perfect smile. "Morning," he said. "You must—" "Be Lily. I'm Colton." The name hit me like a punch. He walked in uninvited, sat at our table, and unfolded glossy pitch decks. Fake charts, fake financial projections, fake app mock-ups, a con, a professional, practiced con. Evan stood behind him, face ashen, shaking. My father flipped through the papers in disbelief. "This is nonsense," he muttered. My mother covered her mouth. Colton kept smiling, until I said, "The bank knows. And so do the police." His face stiffened, and at that exact moment, a car screeched into the driveway. A young woman stepped out, carrying a baby. Eyes red, breathing hard. She stormed inside. "Where is he?" she snapped. Evan shrank against the wall. Colton froze. My parents turned pale. I suddenly realized the truth. They weren't running one scheme, they were running many. Colton had conned Evan. Evan had conned me. And this woman, Mia, had been conned by both. She held up overdue bills, collection notices, debt. "He said he'd take care of us," Mia said, voice breaking. My mother cried harder. My father sat down, stunned. Colton tried to leave, but he didn't get far. The police arrived just minutes later. Colton was arrested on the lawn. Evan tried to negotiate, but they cuffed him too. As they walked Evan past me, he whispered, "Lily, don't do this." I stared straight at him. "I didn't do this. You did." Months of court followed. Colton received nearly 4 years in prison. Evan received 18 months in restitution. Mia received the support she deserved. My parents received silence, heavy, painful silence. And me? I received clarity. The day I packed my bags to move out, my mother handed me a small envelope. Inside was a photo of me as a child, holding Evan's hand at a county fair. On the back she wrote, "You saved us for years. Now save yourself." I drove away, watching the house shrink in my rearview mirror. For the first time, I didn't feel guilt or fear or duty. I felt free. Some families break you slowly. Some break the second you stop holding them up. But sometimes breaking isn't the end, it's the beginning.